Happy and safe New Year in 2023. Welcome to Just Learn Chinese, 光学汉语. Today, I will give you the first lesson to study Chinese language based on the new and natural method I invented, called Just Learn Chinese. I hope this new learning method will enable Chinese language learners, both the native Chinese and international students, to master this ancient language faster with much more enjoyment. My background was in physics, both in teaching and doing research. Therefore, it's also a rare opportunity for you to observe how a physicist to deal with such historical and linguistic topics. Without further ado, let me ask you a basic question. How many real word sounds in Mandarin altogether? Indeed, based on my early investigation, the exact number is 388. 400, not many, compared with English, whose sounds for vocabularies are almost unlimited. By the time you have learned them all, you would be able to read aloud any Chinese character in Mandarin. Still, for a person who had barely heard of Mandarin, 400 different syllables in a foreign language seemed by no means easy to learn. Besides, the phonetical elements in English and other alphabet-based languages are just around 50 or so. Why? Because according to modern phonology, all of the syllables in any spoken language can be synthesized or generated by using finite numbers of so-called phonemes, at least in principle. That is why English pronunciation has been taught in China by using International Phonetic System, or IPS for short. I will return to this issue in the future to explain why children in the mainland are obliged to use a pinyin to learn Mandarin in primary schools. However, you don't have to use the IPS to start English, as it is the case in primary schools in English-speaking countries. That is because all the sound elements in English can be taught by using real English words or part of it. For example, the English vowel an, or written as an in IPS, can be simply learned from the letter A in a word such as cat or map. This is a natural way to learn English. Can we use this way to learn Mandarin? As I recall, my starting point was to ask myself, can I find a complete set of word sounds in Mandarin instead of those artificial phonemes? Just for the sake of teaching and learning Mandarin, not only naturally, but also economically. To my surprise, I discovered that any person can just use several dozens of real word sounds in Mandarin to generate all of the CV syllables in that spoken language. Perhaps you might be curious to know how many. The simple answer is there are only 37 word sounds that are sufficient to generate all syllables or the rest of the word sounds in Mandarin. In other words, you can first select 37 Chinese characters, Hanzhi, to represent the phonetical elements in Mandarin, either as a consonants or a vowels. Then you can simply use them to denote any word sound in Mandarin. Sounds good? Let's have a close look at them and read them one by one. First, the consonants in Mandarin.
博、坡、莫、夫、的、特、乐、呢、己、七、西、个、可、和、子、次、四、直、尺、时、日。
Second, the basic vowels in Mandarin.
啊、爱、安、昂、傲、a、n、翁、欧、我、二、一、五、玉。
To make some coherent or resonant effect, here the order of those elements of word sound is arranged in the same way or similar way to that in Bopo, Morpho, and Pinyin. But we don't have to, as I will explain in my next lesson. By the way, you don't have to know their meanings if you are a beginner, but it would be more fun once you have learned them. For example, 伯 as in 阿伯、伯伯、大伯。Okay? 坡 as in 上坡、下坡、爬坡。And I is in or I something, or I 阿伯， or I 可乐，我爱福之可乐，我爱福之可乐，陶真人。In essence, all the word sounds of the selected Chinese characters can be easily learned and constantly refined from a good Mandarin speaker or a singer.
我愿把它与朋友家人分享。
Without being treated as monkeys, as those in pinyin classes.
好，好，你听啊，好，再来。
Take, for example, you can learn 8 out of the 37 phonetical elements in Mandarin by simply saying 几个阿伯 and 我爱可乐. Follow me, s'il vous plaît. 几个阿伯，我爱可乐。几个阿伯，我爱可乐。And you can also learn another 6 phonetical elements in Mandarin if you can count numbers from 1 to 10 in Mandarin. They are 1、2、4、5、7、10. Congratulations! Not kidding, nearly half done. Please repeatedly use the drill that I will upload soon to start learning these 37 Chinese characters and all of the basic phonetical elements in Mandarin at the same time. Please, by making a comment here to let me and others know how long you master these Chinese word sounds. A few days, or even less than 1 hour. Finally, let's learn how to say and write Happy New Year in Chinese. 新年好，新年好，嘿，新年好，嘿，新年好，喂，嘿，新年好，新年好，新年好，新年好，新年好。Xin here means new and is pronounced as by saying 2 Chinese words, xi yin with 1 breath. Xi yin 心. Got it? Great. That's all for today. See you next time.